It's recording.
There we go.
There we go.
So my experience started on the 24th of May. That's when I started. I think it was a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, if not a Saturday. I started feeling, an out of body experience, like I don't have control of my body, and I sort of don't know where the stability is in terms of my body. I sort of thought it's a normal change of season flu fever. And then I realized 4 days into isolation that my cough was consistent. I didn't have any other symptoms. I didn't have a headache. I didn't have a sore throat. I didn't have all the other things that everybody else has. My only symptom was a cough, and I had a very consistent cough. And so in the 4 days that I started panicking or starting worrying that it might be the coronavirus, I was using what we normally use for a flu. Your med lemon, your stony, the home remedies that we normally use to treat a flu. And I was also using Flu C and all the other fever treatment. And then, nothing was happening for me. The cough was consistent. I took cough syrups. I took large dosages. And luckily for me, I have a client who's a doctor, Dr. Matabela Machigan. So I kept on communicating with her, and I kept saying, look, I think there's something wrong with me. I'm just not sure yet. I woke up the next day after speaking to her the previous day, and I felt my body was a bit weak. I thought, there's something wrong. There must be something going on, because today I don't feel like I did previously. And previously, yes, I felt, out of body experience. Like my body, I wasn't in charge of it. I wasn't controlling what it was doing. Like it sort of put me to sleep, and it was like, sleep or whatever. And then I was fatigued. I was just tired. I wasn't doing anything physically strenuous. I just said to my mom, look, I'm taking myself to hospital. This is a bit much for me. And I went straight into hospital. I got there. I was quickly isolated. I was put on drip. I was put on 2 drips, actually. So they put in the first one, and I was given oxygen because I'm struggling to breathe. I think the way to explain what struggling to breathe means is walking from your room to the bathroom and feeling like that distance is too much. You are stopping along the way to catch your breath, and that's when the dangers of it are. That's when you need to get up and go see a doctor. And that's what I tell everyone now, that when you're struggling to breathe, please get up ASAP. Go to a doctor, go to a hospital. Do not sit with struggling to breathe, because I hear from other people's experiences and just reading out that people have died from not being able to breathe. They did the nasal test where they, that uncomfortable process of putting that long thing that they put inside your nose, and it goes really far back. And I remember specifically they tried it on my left side and it couldn't work, and then they went into the right. They took those results. They took that test and they sent it away to the lab. Jiggy, 3 days later, no one can find the results. The test got lost along the way, and so I had to take another test. I think for me, there was a time that I panicked, and I'm going to explain why. I spoke to the doctor. Apparently, they were suspecting that I had contracted pneumonia, and that I need to be sent to ICU, and that I need to be transferred from one hospital to the next hospital. And this was done at 2 a.m. in the morning, and just the paramedics that transport you, they are so covered I mean, from head to toe, like literally in bags. Their even their shoes are covered in plastic bags, to an
Wow.
extent where, as a patient who's being transferred to the next hospital, you feel as though you have this disease. You're like a special case, and that for me was overwhelming. Because one, they said you can't put you in a car with somebody else. Um, we have to isolate you into this ambulance, and for me that was a bit much. It was a bit dramatic for me, but maybe I also need to understand that they need to protect themselves, which I do. But that entire experience for me felt overwhelming, and that as if I was going to die or I'm somebody who's dying. Maybe they don't. Nobody takes note of that, but like that experience is frightening, where they transport you and they're all dressed up in bags and covered, the entire bodies, literally gloves, everything. It made me feel like I was a special case, like I had a disease. Yeah, like I had a disease out of this world that nobody else has, and I'm going to die or something like that. So that for me, I kind of want people to know that it was really, really overwhelming, and it made me panic. It made me think I'm going to die. There's a lady I specifically spoke to. That lady had been hospitalized 6 days before I came in, and I said to her, "You look fine," and she said, "I'm better now because when I came in, I could barely breathe." And looking at her, I kind of got the hope that I'm going to be fine because she looked like nothing happened to her, or she wasn't even struggling to breathe 6 days ago. And so I also stayed in hospital for about 6 days. The 3 days I was in one hospital where they kept on giving me antibiotics quite a lot. And then from there, I developed, I developed back my appetite. So my symptoms, I had lost appetite, I had a cough. Those were the two symptoms I had. I had two symptoms, and that was it. It was loss of appetite, and that was gradual. When I stopped eating, I went into fruits, and I was just having fruits, and that's it. I remember the last fruit I had was an orange, which I had half of it because I was just losing my appetite. And I needed to eat in order to take meds like your cough syrups and all these things, and Flutex and all those things. But I had lost appetite completely, and that's when I said, "Look, I'm going to hospital," because obviously loss of appetite will mean that I no longer have any sort of energy in me to do anything. But what was a bit of a scare moment for me was hallucinations. I would be deep in my sleep, and I would literally hear people speaking inside my room, and I would respond to them. And then when I open my eyes, there's no one in the room, and then my brain sort of remembers that you are sleeping, and there was no one in this room when you were sleeping. But I would respond to people, literally, not respond in the dream or in my sleep. I would physically say something, I would utter words as in I'm responding to these people in the room. And so I told one of the nurses about that experience, and she said, "Budwam, I don't know what this is, and pray upon it or pray about it." I must mention to people, post-COVID-19, there are still traces. And I'm saying this because I'm not a medical doctor, but I am from my own experience. Right last week, I was getting mild headaches, and I'm not a headache person. So I was getting mild headaches, a bit of chest pain, my back was sore, and then I realized that the body still needs the warmth, so I started sleeping with my heater on, my electric heater on. And 2 days after that, then I started feeling fine. I'm fine now, 4 weeks post the experience, or 3 weeks post the experience. I'm fine now. I don't have any breathing problems. I don't have any symptoms. I'm completely 95, 99% back to my normal self. The only thing that I tend to get every now and then is mild headaches, of which I believe are traces of COVID, though it has sort of or is leaving my body. Um, but I do get mild headaches, and I'm not a headache person. Before I wasn't. I never used to get sick. I barely get sick. Um, so yeah, that is my experience. Look, I definitely have to add the fact that this is real. It's not a lie. It doesn't, it's not just white people that contract it. It's everyone. So lose all of that ignorance. It is a very painful fever to have, or painful virus to have. I know there were days when I was just tired of coughing. Like, I was just relaxing in bed, and there would be something sort of pushing me. Like I was really, really exhausted from all of the coughing because it's nonstop. Like every time I'd speak to people, I would cough throughout the whole conversation. To an extent, I just said to people, start texting because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. The body is you sort of almost wanna you get it. It's yours. It's here, or not yours. It's here. You have it. You sort of want to take it out for an hour just to breathe normally and then bring it back. I don't know if I'm making sense, but the way that I was so exhausted, I was just tired of coughing nonstop. It's something that I wouldn't want for the worst of my enemy. I don't have any, or not that I'm aware of any. It's not even something I would wish upon my worst enemy. And people need to boost their systems. I think even if you haven't contracted it yet, just continue to boost your system. Take the remedies that people are coming up with, or coming up with. Well, in fact, I don't even think people are coming up with remedies. It's remedies that our ancestors used to use. I mean, apparently that's what I've been reading up, that all these things that people are advising us to take are things that our ancestors used to use, especially in the rural Eastern Cape and all the other rural areas. I remember this one day, a friend of mine whose mom is a medical professional, she made me have, I think it was guava leaves. And I was like, okay, this is the first time I'm hearing of this one. But I had it and I felt a lot better with my tight chest. I felt a lot better. I think for people, it's important for people to understand that it's real. It's important for people to understand that it's here. I think for the longest time, we have been making people aware that the virus is happening and it's killing people in other countries. It's now here, and it's going to kill people if they are ignorant about it. Prevention is better than cure, and it's important for people to boost their immune systems every day. Take everything with vitamin C, boost your system, make sure that it is strong. Should you contract it, get to an immune system that is strong and is able to fight it off. Boost your immune system, social distance, and wear your mask, wash your hands regularly, use your sanitizer. Just be cautious, be very, very cautious, because I made it, but you might not make it. And that's the sad reality.